Drink it in, man.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread! Cornbread! Cornbread!
Drink it in, man.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Cornbread!
Detroit Koolaid drinkers. It is Friday. This is your host, Derek Oakery, on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Now, I know I've been going a little bit crazy these last couple of shows. I've been off the rails. I've been yelling a lot. I've been frustrated. The team's not winning. We all know this. But we also know that it's still best to drink that delicious Honolulu Blue flavored Kool-Aid.
Drink it in, man.
We will get this right. We will start winning. This team will start coming together, and a guy's going to help me figure that out and talk about it today. Is the one and only Chops. Chops, back on the show. How you doing today?
Oh, Oakery. I'm feeling good. My Lions not feeling so good right now, but I think there's brighter days ahead. And it's always darkest before the dawn, Oak. So I'm here to get you off the ledge and to get these people drinking some more Kool-Aid and get ready for the next game.
Thank you, buddy. We'll also have a double of cornbread to get us going.
Cornbread!
So Choppy, here's the thing. I mean, we're going to talk about the Vikings at some point. We know that's the game coming up. But what me and you are going to do for a bulk of this show is fix the Lions. We got to figure out this roster, these injuries, how this thing's moving forward, get the people excited. We're going to spend a good bulk of time on that. But before we get to that, I mean, you're my hockey insider. You're very fired up that the boys have hit the ice and the pucks have dropped here recently, and the regular season's right around the corner. As my hockey insider, I thought I'd give you a minute or two to hype the people up about these Red Wings that we got going. Do your thing.
Oh, baby. Well, Oakery, as you have probably seen on the old Twitter page, you can hit me up at Chops in the D. All your hockey insider information on the Red Wings. And man, I'm feeling good about this Red Wings team. We got a young team. We got the captain, the man, Stevie Y at the helm. He's been GMing the team now. We're starting to get his identity. I'm loving it. And dude, the off-season moves we have made, I'm feeling really, really good about this team. I'm looking at us up and down. I mean, I like our top 9 forward group. I think we've got 6 solid defensemen, and man, this goalie tandem that we have with this, rookie of the year candidate goalie that we picked up from Carolina, basically just bamboozled from Carolina somehow, along with Thomas Greiss, man. I'm feeling real good about this team. And I think if we can stay healthy, we can get these kids taking some steps forward, and we can start making some playoff pushes here pretty quick.
Chops, one reason it's called Detroit Kool-Aid is because I wanted to serve that kind of stuff up for the people too.
Drink it in, man.
Get that Red Wings bright red Kool-Aid as well this year, because I'm excited for hockey as well. Now, one other thing before we dive into Lions, I'm also seeing on the old Twitterverse something called #ChoppyLikey. Now, you said it to me. You said it in text. I laugh almost every time. It's odd. It's funny. It may become a new gimmick phrase out there. #ChoppyLikey. Now, let me ask you this. Is it #ChoppyLikey Lucas Raymond?
Yeah. That's like Choppy Lovey. Lucas Raymond is a freaking stud, man. This kid's like 22 years old, ripped it up in the Swedish league now for the last few years. And I'm ready for this guy to be in the NHL. They've been putting him on the line with Dylan Larkin and Philip Zadina. And I mean, all the kid has done in 3 games is like, I think he's got like 7 points or something, like 2 goals and 5 assists. And the dude's just, he went bar down on Marc-Andre Fleury a couple of days ago in Chicago, and just, it was sick, man. So Choppy likey that kid, and he better not be in the AHL when the season starts. That's for sure.
All right, give me 2 more choppy likeys for Red Wings, then we'll transition to Lions. And is Mo Sider hashtag choppy likey worthy?
Oh yeah. Mo Sider is definitely choppy likey worthy. He again, they're pairing the kid up. He's again young. This will be his first full season in the NHL. They're going to pair him up with Nick Leddy, another offseason acquisition, who's kind of our veteran. And I think those two are just they're going to light it up. They're going to be our top pair here pretty quick. Same thing, man. This kid's got a blast. He had a nice power play goal again against the Blackhawks, where he just ripped it from the blue line straight through, screen, beautiful shot. And the guy's, he's got some physical. He looks kind of gangly right now because he's got a body, a tall frame to build up and bulk up a little bit. But dude, he's silky smooth with his passes, and he's got some scoring touch too. So choppy likey.
Nice. So what I want the Detroit Koolaid drinkers to do is at some point, pull up at Chops in the D, send a funny take, send a Lions thing, something about hockey, whatever it may be, and hit it with that hashtag choppy likey. So, all right, that's all fun stuff. When we have the Hockey Insider, we got to get the people. I know some of you are like, I want to hear about football, about the line. Hey, this is one of our Detroit teams too. Pistons, Wings, Lions. We're all excited trying to get these teams rolling. So, choppy. Let's do this when we start to fix the Lions. I want to do a little game called Save, Recycle, or Throw Out. And so some of these players, we can save on this team for moving forward. Other ones we can keep, but we got to fix them. We got to get them going. We got to get them to play better. And some just need to get out. I mean, we've seen enough. They're hot garbage. Put them out at the side on Friday or whenever the dumpster rolls around the old neighborhood. You know what I mean? So let's do this somewhat rapid fire style. So Chops, Trey Flowers.
Oof, man. Well, it's hard to talk about my man Flowers right now because he's hurt, which applies to about 50% of our starters right now.
Might be 75.
But I think Flowers is a guy that we actually could look to move at the deadline here this year. I like him, but I don't know if he's going to necessarily fit where we want to go going forward. So if we can get some assets for him, I say we recycle him into the field and get some picks.
I like it. Okry likey. I am going to recycle him as well. Even whatever I can get for Trey Flowers at this point, move him forward. He's not on my football team next year. Good guy, big guy, hard worker, but I haven't seen anywhere near enough that he was set to do here in Detroit. So recycle, or if I have to, get out. All right, here's one for you. I've heard your takes on him before. Tracy Walker. What are you doing with him?
Oh man, this guy... I know he is like on your hot love list, and he's putting up some stats, right? I mean, he's getting some tackles. He had the sack against San Francisco, but oh man, I mean, right now I honestly feel like he's on the squad because we just don't have anything better at safety, but that has to change. But I will say this: I think he's under contract for 1 more year. And I think he ends up being saved and being on this team as a mentor or more of a stopgap until we can get some more young talent in here. Because, I mean, I think we all know that safety is not a strong suit right now. And Tracy Walker's performed admirably, but not up to expectation. So he's like a save/recycle.
All right, interesting. You're giving that Kool-Aid twist here, a little positivity on the show. You gotta like that.
Drink it in, man.
Now me, the creator of Detroit Kool-Aid, the ultimate Detroit Kool-Aid drinker, like all of you out there listening. I mean, I hate to do it, but yeah, Tracy was on my love list. He has been my guy. You would think I'd save or recycle him. But Choppy, I think I'm done. I feel like, as you said, we have no one else, but as soon as we have someone else, I don't mind him being off this roster. I don't mind him being way down the depth chart. I continue not to see nearly enough from number 21. He had me all hype about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and the last couple, I mean, he's got to get out, in my opinion. I don't see it. Another guy, let me just hit you with this on the don't see it, throw it out, hot garbage, get off my team, never want to see you play again. Will Harris. I mean, I tried to call him a captain, a leader. He's a great guy, all this stuff. He can't play football. I've seen absolutely enough of this guy. Every play that's made on Sundays is on number 25.
Yeah, I agree. He's a man. If we can get something for him, get him out the door. Get a pick for him. I mean, get him out.
You can't.
I don't want him on my team.
You can't get anything for Will Harris. He's shown himself he can't play at this level, whatever his issues are. I don't care how big he is. I don't care about people saying, oh, move him to the line of scrimmage, it'd be better. He can't cover. He can't tackle. I just have totally flipped on this guy as well. I've seen enough. I reach this point with certain players where I try to root for him. I try to Kool-Aid him. I try to give him cornbread, and instead I'm just like, nope, I'm done with him, and he's on that list. Jeff Okudah, an interesting name. I mean, most people would think, oh, it's a definite save. He's definitely going to get recycled. Is he? Are you still rolling with number 3 pick? Has he still got game? Is he going to be good off an Achilles?
He's too young to throw away, and he's injured, so you can't really recycle him. This kid's going to be on the team next year, but look, we took him number 3 overall, right? He was supposed to be the guy. He was supposed to take steps forward like our boy Darius Slay did after, year 2, year 3. I don't see it. I see him being a guy. He's cheap and he's young, but he's not going to be our number 1 corner beyond. I mean, again, obviously he's not playing this year because he's hurt, and I hate to do that to a guy who didn't, barely got to even show anything this year, but man, what I saw didn't impress, and my patience is wearing a little thin with him.
Like, I'll save him because of the draft capital and his pedigree, but he hasn't made any like quality games. There's not one game where he had a pick. Okay, we get it. He had a couple, minor flashes, but just haven't seen it. So I can't wait for the lit day on the Detroit Koolaid Cast where instead of saying, oh, they're young, like, wait, let's see, he'll get better. We're just like, if you're not good enough, you don't play. You don't start. We don't leave you out there on multiple plays to get burned. And that's what I feel like with him. If he comes back next year, it's like, yeah, it's fine, but I would love a guy that's just better, that can just go out and make plays, that can cover, that can make tackles, can turn the football over. So that may be where he falls in that. Let's go a little bit rapid fire with these last couple so we can get to some more Lions fixes here. So Deshaun Hand, what are you doing with him?
Again, I hate this because we keep bringing up these guys that haven't even played a snap this season. I feel like he's going to be on the team next year because he's a rotational body. He's still young. He's 25. He's got pedigree coming out of Alabama. I didn't get to even see him this year. I haven't seen him since last year, but
you never see him.
So I think because of where he still is on this team next year. Obviously you can't recycle him because of his injury issues, but he's on the squad, but I have very low expectations for this guy. He's going to be replaced pretty quickly by some of our young studs.
See, I don't want to be anti-Kool-Aid, but again, Deshaun Hand, he never is healthy. He never plays, and we haven't seen him make plays since his rookie year, which was 3 years ago. I mean, I think this is his contract year. If he has another year, congratulations, but I would not be mad to move on from this guy. Maybe he can play on another team. Maybe he can play in general, but I just never see him play, so I've seen enough of his play. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty much done with him as well. Quick on this, Hal Vaitai. I mean, get him out, throw him out. I know he's sort of been decent, where his new role is right guard, but get him out. Use that money in other places. Come on.
Yeah, I agree. He's a throwout. I don't need to see him on my squad. Our O-line is pretty darn good, and he's to me he's the weak link, and he doesn't need to be here.
And I saved the best for last, Choppy Chop, and that's your boy Jared Goff. I mean, you saving him? Does he need a little recycle with some extra weapons, or you done with him? Have you seen enough to where it's like, yeah, we got to get a dynamic QB?
Oh, buddy, Oakley, it's been 4 games, man. And the guy, who's the guy throwing the ball to? Raymond Khalif? Come on, Khalif. Like, give me a break, dude. I can't even say the guy's name right. I switched his name around because we don't even know who he is, bro. No, I'm not throwing away Jared Goff. I'm still on the Goff train. That's my boy 16. And yeah, he's had some ups, he's had some downs, probably a couple more downs than we would have liked. But yeah, man, he's a save. He's a solid save.
So Choppy, what you're telling me is if your kid, you'd rather have your kid named Raymond Khalif than Khalif Raymond. Is that what you're saying?
Sure. Everybody loves Raymond.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. I mean, we're going to get into it here in a little bit because I got more on this guy. I mean, I might have a bone to pick with you here in the next segment or so about him, but let me put him in my recycle column right now based on some of the things I've seen. I'm either willing to keep him. I'm also willing to move him if somebody needs a QB, but he needs to tighten up and he also needs a little more help and to be more of a playmaker. So I will recycle Jared Goff for right now. So, okay, so we recycle, we saved a few guys, we threw out a lot of the extra that we don't need. So let me ask you this. If you're keeping Goff around, he's a solid save for you, quote unquote, like, when and how do you address the quarterback?
Oh, so I'm a very firm believer that you build your team from starting from the trenches, as we've talked about many times. You build your team, you put the weapons in place, and then when the time is right, you drop in the right quarterback if you don't already have him, right? I mean, look at what KC did before they just dropped in Patty Mahomes, right? I mean, that defense was sick. They had weapons all over the place. And not to, that's not taking anything away from Patty because he's the man. But to me, look, Goff is going to be our quarterback this year. And in my opinion, he should be our quarterback next year as well. We need to clean house. We need to get the old regime out. We need to get all the new regime players in. And look, come year 3, and I'll be completely honest, none of the quarterbacks in college right now are making me, antsy in the pantsy because I'm not seeing anything from these guys that were rated high. So nobody's standing out to me. I know we got a couple of guys, you've done some breakdown on them, but no one's really sticking out to me. So Goff is our guy next year. And if the class after that looks okay, then we talk about it. But I got time.
Okay, I figured you'd go there. So Goff, hashtag
Choppy likey.
There you go. I mean, I'm having struggles based on what I see, Choppy. Lots of balls, that are wobbly. I'm seeing a lot of lack of big time throws, big time playmaking. I've seen too many turnovers in 4 games from your boy number 16. I mean, he says everything great at the microphone, but is he just going through the motions saying, "Oh, I love Raymond Khalif. He's incredible." I mean, Khalif Raymond. He's incredible. I love his work ethic. Or is he just saying that because that's the thing to say? He's going through the motions. He's collecting his check. I have some questions. He does some things I like. He says some things I like that I think he does mean, but where's the fire? Where's the passion? Where's the playmaking? Where's the guy where we can, like, every week, hey, with a little bit extra playmakers, 16's the guy? Like, I got questions.
I get it. But look, I want to let's dive. Me. I'm a numbers guy, right? So let's look at his numbers through the first 4 games. I don't want to blow your mind up here with all these stats, but based on what he's done so far in these first 4 games, I mean the guys, if this plays out, the guy's looking at 440 completions, 4,400 yards, 28 touchdowns, 8 picks. And the guy's been sacked 10 times already. So, I mean, that last game against Chicago was just brutal. So those are not terrible numbers for a team that's going to be, that hasn't won a game yet. Let's put it that way. Right.
Yeah, I don't mind those numbers, but it's the eye test with him. He cost us a game in Green Bay. I feel like, the team overall played well start to finish and almost found a way against Baltimore. But then even in this last game, I mean, he's put up a double goose in 2 halves or 3 first quarters, I think. I mean, we can't have zeros. We need points. We need touchdowns. We need playmaking early, not like late in the game like old number 9 used to love to do.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Look, he could be better. The whole team could be better, right? I mean, no touchdown passes against Baltimore, even though we almost won that game. He managed the game well. Two against Chicago, but I mean, again, it was like too little, too late. Same thing with San Francisco. I mean, they were just getting wiped out, and he threw a couple late ones there. But yeah, I agree. But I think, like I said, he's dealing with what the team has given him, right? So
Yeah.
does he have that deep bomb threat? No. Does he have multiple options to check down to other than dump offs to Swift and Swag? Not really.
Right.
It sounds like Hawkinson's a little dinged up too, so I think that may have affected some there. But
I guess my
look,
problem
I'm
is
not going to tell you he's been great, but I'm also not going to tell you he's been the worst either.
yeah, no, I guess my issue, you said it right there. Oh, he's managed the game well. Like, yeah, when everything's perfect, he's been fine. When he's gets rolling a bit, he puts up some stats and makes some plays. I'm just telling you, if they gave him ultra playmakers, I'm starting to still question at this point, is he going to bomb it down the field? Is he going to make those big time numbers and plays, or is he still going to be, no, he's all right. He's okay. He makes plays here or there. He's a stand-up guy. He's got some talent at the quarterback position, but not a guy that you're going to ultimately win at a high level with. And like you said, maybe he's here 2 more years, but that whole transition to the quarterback, to me, is kind of like you said. I think they need to just sort of be very vigilant of what's out there, look at all their options, not be afraid to be aggressive if the right opportunity comes up to get a guy that's not a rookie. They also need to evaluate all the rookies always and wait to see who their guy is and make that move at that point. And yeah, I'm fine with Jared Goff in the meantime, but I've definitely started to doubt that, hey, if we get all these extra pieces, he can be the main guy at quarterback. I think he's the guy for now, maybe next year, maybe a third year if he really starts to play and they surround him and the offensive line starts killing it. If they could ever get healthy, Chops, we got so much to talk about, man. I don't know how we get into it, but this is the big one for me, and we just kind of hit on it a little bit. How do we use these valuable, these priceless, these immaculate assets that these draft picks that everybody's hanging their hat on? I mean, every day on Twitter, I see people, oh, just wait, Oakrey, till 2024. We'll be good at that point after we nail all these first-round picks. Oh, Oakrey, like, we don't care if we win. We got the picks, man. We got the picks. Chops, is there a guy that's bigger on picks than me? Is there somebody that's more excited about potential, about rookies, about guys that haven't done anything in the game? Oh, man, this guy's going to be good. Just wait. That's been me forever, and it's still me. I love draft picks. I love young guys. I think, they can totally boost their roster with those selections. But for people just to act like we're going to hit, 4 Hall of Famers and then we're just going to get the free agents and the quarterback's going to fall in place and everything's going to be perfect, like, to me, that's a leap of faith at best. That's Kool-Aid 101, and I hope it happens. But, I mean, come on. I mean, so my question, I guess, is, how are you kind of using or looking at these draft picks to really take this roster from struggling to, oh, baby? That's what I'm asking.
That's for sure. Well, look, I want to wrap up the last segment with a nice little bow that leads right into this question. So, talking about the quarterback play, I'm going to pose you a question and then I'll answer your question. Oakrey,
Right.
Would you rather be where we are today with Jared Goff as our quarterback with 2 extra first-round picks in the next 2 years at 0-4, or would you rather have Matt Stafford as your quarterback, no extra 2 picks, no third-round pick that we used to get your boy Melifonwu, and be 1-3 with Matt Stafford?
I'll take Jared Goff.
That's the right answer.
And the picks.
That's absolutely the right answer.
Yeah,
Now,
that was an easy one.
Yeah. So look, I mean, we made the right move in the offseason. I think everybody knew we weren't going to the Super Bowl this year. We weren't going to be a playoff team this year. I mean, realistically, I was optimistic coming in, but the way the injuries have hit us, the way the things have played out, it's taken a little bit of a turn. But I will say, I mean, you are the king of the draft pick. And I am very excited about having 2 first-round picks coming up. I think, again, we continue to build around our defense. I think if you look at our roster top to bottom, we're getting happy with our lines, unless we find a big, nasty edge rusher that can come in early. I like that. I like to look at that. But, I think for me, it's looking at our linebackers and our secondary early on with those picks. And maybe making a splash here or there for a wide receiver or a skill player on that side. I like our running back situation with Swift and Swag. Obviously, I like our TJ Hawkinson. And, Grandpa Fells seems to be okay backing him up. So but we need a wide receiver or 2 or 5. And look, we need some linebackers and some corners and some safeties. So for me, it's all defense all the time. And if you find a skill player that you think is a steal, which, by the way, speaking of steals, I heard all about St. Brown, and I'm not seeing much on the field. What's going on with that guy?
I mean, the young cat's he's having some struggles. He's having some issues.
Struggling.
I think he's still a really good player. I mean, I thought he was going to kind of be this focal point this year based on the other pieces we have, but they just seem to love Raymond Khalif Raymond, as well as Quintez. Here's the thing with Quintez. Like, he's starting to make plays, and people go crazy about him. Like, he'll make a couple plays, and people are like, oh, he's our number 2, like, from now for the next few years. I'm like, no, he's like our 1-2 now, but like he should be a 4-5. And like Quintez stepped to the podium recently, and I swear, dude does not sound excited, smart. I don't know what his issue was, but he was having trouble like answering the simplest of questions. So I have a little concern there with Mr. Q about his processing ability or what's going on there. But I mean, yeah, across the board, I mean, struggling. Like there's no question.
I was expecting a little bit more from him. I thought he'd be a focal point. I mean, I really, honestly, I had him right behind Tyrell, but they've kind of gone to this whole Raymond situation. I mean, now I will say that he did. I think his receptions popped up here against Chicago. I think he had 4 or 5, maybe 6. So it's getting there, but it's not where I thought it would be by this point. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole wait and see, because I think he's been praised in practice. I've seen things I like on the field, from blocking to even like the 4th down play that everyone's saying he ran his route slow. He ran like a Golden Tate route where he sort of just like walked off the line and then bursted out of his cut, and he just threw it too far. He was wide open. So I see good things I like. It's just he's not dominating, which I didn't expect anyway. I mean, as much as I hyped him up or think he can be good, he's good in a 2, 3, 4 slot role receiver. A guy that comes in, knows his role, makes plays. I mean, it's just wait for him. My thing with the wait, here's the thing, and then we'll get to our commercial break. We'll talk some Vikings. Is like I'm tired of the struggling across the board.
Struggling.
Like you know what I want, Choppy? Like, people tell me, oh, it doesn't matter. We knew this year was going to be whatever. Like, no. I mean, I want winners.
I want winners. I want people that want to win.
I'm looking around at this roster right now after 4 weeks, after all the injuries, after all the issues, and I'm saying this.
Cannot play with them. Cannot win with them. Cannot coach with them. Can't do it.
I mean, I'm looking at like half our defense, and like I don't know what we have. I'm looking at them. I'm like, hey man,
step your game up.
That goes to like the whole defense. Hey, some of our playmakers.
Step your game up.
Like I guess like I'm fine with patience. I know it's a long-term plan. I know they're getting out all the people that were here. But 4 weeks in, I'm just so sick of the wait 2 years and then we'll see. Hey, everything's going to go perfect in draft and free agency, so don't worry about it. Hey, the quarterback's going to fall in our lap at the perfect moment. Like, so many questions. And like you said, right now I kind of just want a dominant offensive and defensive line, and I'd love to get to where we had a good defense. I feel like we can figure the rest out, at other places. But all this wait around, we knew we were going to suck. Like, no, I want to win ball games.
So look, Oak, I think you've missed me on the show. It's been a couple of weeks, and I gotta fill up the glass here. Take a minute, drink it in, fill up the glass.
Drink it in, man.
And listen to me. I get it. It's hard to be patient, okay? I think it was Guns N' Roses that said it takes just a little patience. And you gotta listen. It's been 4 games with this new regime. I know everybody, and I can't stand the saying, but everybody, the same old Lions, same old. No, listen, it's not the same old Lions, because I'm still seeing fight out of this team. Now, it was a little bit of an embarrassment against the Bears game, but We fought with Green Bay in the first half. We fought back against San Francisco. We went toe-to-toe with Baltimore and had the refs pull our pants down.
I want people that want to win.
I need W's, Choppy. I don't need hard work anymore. I don't need tryhards. I don't need all wait around. I need W's. I need wins. I need people that can make plays. You're giving me the Kool-Aid, which I literally just took a couple big sips of my blue Kool-Aid, Mio Berry Blast, if anybody wants to pick that up at the old store there over at Walmart or wherever you go. Delicious. It tastes like eventual winning. Not right now. But my thing is, like, I look around this roster. I mean, I've said it on Twitter, all these different things. Like, you can't have our left tackle, our two rush ends, our linebacker, our guys on offense. You know, everybody hurt. That matters. I mean, what? We're going to, like, lose all these guys for multiple weeks and we're going to get better? Then we're going to start beating teams with no Frank Ragnow, no Taylor Decker, no Jeff Okudah, no Trey Flowers, no Romeo Quara. Like, those are probably 5 of our best players we got. So that's where I'm like, don't want to wait around. I want to win, but like, I know the realities is like, I mean, don't tell me like, hey, hold on, wait for the next 8 games when I know those guys aren't going to be out there for the most part.
Listen, Okrie, I'm telling you, you're not going to have to wait 8 games. You only have to wait 4 when we play Philadelphia.
Okay. I need a W first and foremost. I also need to like just see Goff and company start molding. I want to turn on the games every week and be a bit more excited than I am right now, as well as, like you said, the fight and all that's great, as long as you're not only hanging into the end, but you're not killing yourself like you did in Chicago by giving the football away and looking like in a bumbling clown show, it was embarrassing. That's what I said online. It was an embarrassing game that was in Chicago. But Chops, we've talked about a lot here in this first part of the show. I think we need to get our sponsors in. I think we need to come back, calm down, talk about some other things, as well as preview this Vikings game, get people excited, say, hey, all that stuff, Okrie and Chops, they fixed the Lions. We're going in the right direction. It's going to get figured out. Now let's go try to beat Minnesota. How about that?
Sounds good. Let's get those sponsors in, and I'll keep filling up that glass. We'll get there.
Absolutely, man. So everybody, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, everybody. This goes out to my fantasy football fans out there. Now, you probably heard about Reality Sports Online, the most powerful fantasy sports platform where owners can build and manage their fantasy team like a real NFL general manager. But the question is, have you tried it? I mean, we're talking free agency, multi-year contracts, rookie drafts, multi-team trades. You could put franchise tags on guys. It's as close as you're going to get to being an NFL GM. But do you think it sounds complicated? It's not. I'm here to tell you it's the best thing about Reality Sports Online is it's just more fun than your normal fantasy league, but it doesn't take barely any more time. After all this, are you still not sure? I mean, come on now. You can test your general manager skills by going over to Reality Sports Online, call it RSO. Please go check out realitysportsonline.com right now. All right, Detroit Koolaid drinkers, back from the break. Please go check out realitysportsonline.com if you love fantasy football. If you didn't get in this year, get in next year. I mean, I'm dominating Choppy in the league that we're in together. I'm blowing up this year in fantasy. I'm really having a good fantasy football year. I have had a few clunk ups where I got a tie. Who wants a tie in fantasy football? I did get some other bad beats that cost me here or there. Sometimes by my decision making, where I never know who to play or how to manage some of these injuries. But I mean, other than that, fantasy football is a good time, and it's a good time talking Lions. So we got into a lot in the front part of the show. Appreciate everybody hitting that subscribe button and giving us a listen here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. So, Choppy, I mean, ready to get into Vikings, or what are we doing here?
Oh, so Okrie, I think we were down at Ford Field, as you've mentioned before, at the Baltimore game, and I keep hearing this sound, and I can't place it, but I think it's the vehicle taking about half of our team from Ford Field to Henry Ford Hospital. Did you hear? Did you hear what I was? Yeah.
Is that the sound you're referring to?
Yeah, that was it. Was that the? Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that was the ambulance that taking half of our dang team to the hospital and onto the IR and out of the game. What is going on with these injuries, man?
I think that has half our team on it. It definitely does. I mean, it's like I've said it. I mean, people beat me up for it. They're kind of like, man, injuries are part of the national football. Yeah, I get it. The thing I don't get is every year, nobody that's inconsequential gets hurt. It's always our top draft pick, our stud at each position. And they're always out for, I don't know, the season or multiple weeks or 6+ weeks. Like, can we start getting some hangnails from like the fifth corner? Can we start getting the gunner having a hamstring pull? Not our starting defensive end that makes $18 million or more. Like, that's what I have an issue with all these injuries. So I really don't know how we're going to overcome the loss of Ragnow for 3+ weeks now. I heard it could be like up to 6 or more. You got when's Taylor Decker coming back from his pinky surgery or whatever he had. Like, I have no idea what's going on there. I mean, it's just up and down. I mean, I guess Trey Flowers is coming back, but we talked about him earlier. I mean, we've almost been better at the rush ends with him sitting, so that's not got me all fired up. So you tell me, Choppy, I mean, what are we doing with injuries? How are we getting over these?
Well, look, let's start on the defense or on the offensive end, right? You already mentioned, 3 of our big dogs on the line. And we didn't even talk about Trell Crosby, who was supposed to be our starting right tackle, out. Now I'm hearing Penei Sewell, maybe.
Hold on.
That was Canadian for you there, for your Canadian listeners, Sewell.
Hold on. You said Terrell Crosby. We took him out to the trash heap before the season started. He's been gone. He's at the bowling alley working right now. So I think you meant you're overreacting about Penei Sewell's injury. The dude's going to be fine. He's just a little ankle beat up or whatever. We got our left tackle and our center gone, and then we haven't had this O-line, which was supposed to be incredible, play at all when it counted. Like, that's ultimately frustrating.
Yeah. Well, and then not to mention, too, you've had, Tyrell Williams has been out, Hunter Bryant, who I was expecting a little more of, some of that tight end group that got hurt early on, and we had to, ditch them. It's been rough on the O side for sure.
Oh, you mean our number one receiver, our top guy, hasn't played barely a snap? He played like 2 quarters, I think, and then got 1 hit, which happens in most football games. That's put him out for multiple weeks now. I'm not trying to downplay concussions. I mean, I feel bad the guy got a concussion or whatever, but I was there that game when he got hit. It was a seam route. He got hit, but I mean, I didn't see a direct helmet to helmet. I didn't see some vicious takeout, and it's been 4+ weeks now. I mean, like, part of me is like, come on, man, let's get him right, let's get him fixed, let's get him back out there. I mean, all these other players returned from all this stuff, so that's a questionable one for me with Tyrell. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Taylor Decker, but you think he'd be able to club up his hand and do some work, but he's probably very particular about, I need my hand placement, I need my technique. Well, most guys just wrap a big ball on their hand and go out and swat people in the face and play left tackle or interior guard or whatever you got to do in the league. So let's get him back out there sooner than later. And I mean, no Romeo Okwara, bro. Like, Romeo Okwara getting the old siren. I mean, Romeo Okwara is not only our best rusher, we just paid him. We paid him big. Now you got to call the ambulance because he tore his Achilles. Not only is he out this year, is Romeo going to come back and be the hard end, guy that shows a lot of hustle and gets out there, or is he going to be hampered? I mean, I don't know. Killing me.
Yeah, it's a hard one to take, and then of course you throw in your Jeff Okudah and your Ife Melifonwu right off the bat too. Those are tough corner. I mean, your top 2 corners that you lose, or who you expect to be your top 2 corners, maybe behind AO on the Ife, but. Yeah, man. I mean, those are big injuries, right? When you lose your number 1 guy at a position across the board, and it happens in 6, 7 starting spots, it's hard to overcome, and especially hard to overcome when you're in a rebuild year, right? This is a transition year where we're getting rid of some of the garbage and we're building in. But it's hard. You got a 53-man roster, right? And when you got 8 starters that are out, it's hard to go next man up when we got a lot of garbage that we got to get rid of from the last regime. So it's tough, but I think it'll also give the young bucks some opportunity to play. I mean, I like what I'm seeing out of Bobby Price, AJ Parker, I like a little bit of that. I like what I'm seeing out of Derek Barnes. I mean, yes, he's going to have some ups and downs. He's going to have some learning curves, but I've liked some of what I've seen from him. I think Anzalone he's another one. He rides the wave, right? Like when he's on, and when he's down, oh my God, he's a dog. But I think we're going to see some more out of Big Denim, and so the injuries, they play a part, but we'll get to see some more of the young bucks. But yeah, it's really hard to see, when you feel like you're not even playing a starting NFL roster because you've got so many guys hurt.
Hey, note to Dan Campbell, the conditioning staff, the coaches, and these players that continue to get injured for the Detroit Lions.
You've had enough of that.
Exactly. I just had enough of it, choppy chop. And they say, well, the next man up, or hey, now we get to see the young guys. Okay, well, I mean, you're going to figure out what you have. Congratulations. But we also don't know what we have. And I don't know our top draft pick at corner. We really don't know what we have in our new rush end, Romeo. We only got to see him a little bit. You don't know what you have in this O-line because who knows if they'll even play at all this whole season together. So, yeah, you'll get to see A.J. Parker and, Jerry Jacobs and company. Well, great. I mean, we'll see if they can make the bottom of the roster as we bolster it. But that's not going to win you ultimately games in the most competitive league in all of sports. So I don't know, man. You hung your hat on some names, which I'll be looking. I will have Derek Barnes, Big Denim circled. I will hope that Decker and Ragnow get back and we at least get to see, a decent semblance of that line. But right now, I mean, it's a mash unit for the Detroit Lions. I mean, let's not hear the sound anymore, Choppy. Let's get this ambulance headed to Henry Ford and stay there, please, because I've had enough of these injuries for our team.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough. It's real tough. We gotta overcome. I'm not trying to do cliches here, but I know you hate that next man up mentality, especially. But hey, you also are the guy that loves depth, so we gotta have it.
You have to have depth. You said we're not a team right now that has front line, let alone depth. So we're trying to figure it all out. We can't have our depth at starting at every crucial spot. And like I said, these aren't like the, who cares position. Like you could probably get away with, your second safety being out there on the far back end or, hey, our backup, guard is out, for multiple weeks. But when it's tackles, it's centers, it's corners, it's linebackers, it's skill guys, it's like, yeah, that's what really hurts your team. So, I mean, we'll see how they deal with it.
Look, you got to calm down, okay? You settle down. No, listen. We just signed Ryan McCollum from the Houston practice squad to potentially start at center. It'll be okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't even know what to say to it. I mean, that's what I hate is like these last couple Kool-Aids. I'm ranting and raving, but I'm trying to do the people justice because nobody out there's happy. Nobody, like, even if we were 1-3, but we saw a little bit more from different areas, we weren't hurt across the board. People are like, hey, I like this new team. I mean, again, I posed this to Stefan on the Wednesday show. Go back and listen to that if you want to laugh and hear me get all riled up. Choppy, I know it's choppy likey, but have you seen Dan Campbell and company do any of this year?
We're going to bite a kneecap off. We're going to smile at you. We're going to take your other kneecap. We're going to smile at you. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. We're going to be the last one standing. All right. That's going to be the mentality.
I mean, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen that type of intensity. I haven't seen that type of play on the field. How about we start biting kneecaps, taking people out this Sunday against Minnesota?
I saw a little bit against Baltimore, but I want to see a hell of a lot more against Kirk Cousins and those damn Vikings, who are also a dumpster fire up in Minnesota at 1-3. So let's do it.
Let's get into that game. So here's my thing. I mean, I'm not a big like, oh man, that stadium is tough to play at, but Minnesota is on my short list of like, it's kind of a tough stadium based on the noise and some of the things their fans do, but I mean, it doesn't have a bunch of history. It's not a place that, their teams aren't just world beaters. So you think you come in there, but every time the Lions go into that dome, they just get beat up. I mean, we had 10, 12 sacks one year in that stadium. We always seem to turn the football over a ton. So any concerns about that as a venue, or do you think we could just walk in there like Conor McGregor and try to get this dub?
Well, first of all, don't use that analogy because I think the last 3 times Conor McGregor's walked into the ring, he's walked out with an injury, which I guess is kind of fitting. or he's put up a loss. So
The strut. We got to have the strut.
Okay, fine. We can strut in like Conor McGregor and then walk out with a broken hammy. No, okay. So we're gonna walk into Minnesota. No, I mean, look, I'm sorry, dude. U.S. Bank Stadium does not send shivers down my spine. How many games has Dan freaking Campbell coached in that stadium?
I don't know. Has he coached a bunch there? He hasn't coached much other than an assistant. I mean, my thing is, I mean, Choppy, they've got the horn. Like, they're going to play that every 2 seconds. I mean, that's what gives them the advantage, don't you think?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you know what? It's, look,
they have a Viking on a motorcycle.
Divisional opponents with these gimmicky, it's like Columbus Blue Jackets with the cannon and hockey, and they got the horn in Minnesota. Like, I listen. Dan Campbell's going to take that horn, he's going to snap it over his knee, and he's going to shove it, where, and we're going to win against the Vikings.
Choppy, I'm right with you. I mean, what's up with all these gimmicks? I mean, seriously.
Drink it in, man.
Cornbread.
Who would do such a thing, really? I mean, that's lowbrow. That's kind of like, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I agree with you.
Yes. The gimmicks need to go. Come on. We're way above that on the Koolaid Cast.
All right, so here's the thing. Let's break this game down a little bit. We already talked about the injuries. I don't know. My biggest worry, I guess, is the O-line gelling so quickly and being able to keep some of the, Vikings pass rushers that always seem to get after us at bay. I do think you can throw the football. I mean, they have Pat Pete, but he's older, and they've invested in a lot of corners, but I still think it's a team you can pass on a little bit. I think the Lions' best strategy to try to get a W, which is really what I want, I don't care how it looks, how it feels, is to really just see if they can slow the game down, pound the football, just wind that clock, and then just win this game. Again, we'll get to our predictions here in a moment, but I would go slow play. I mean, I'm struggling to figure out how you get 24 plus points with how we're set up currently. I mean, let me throw this to you. Can the Lions defense, which is banged up, which is not playing particularly well most weeks, can they stop or even slow down Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, and that old bum that always seems to kill the Lions, a guy that I'll never draft in fantasy football ever, Adam Thielen? Are they going to just kill us all game, or are we going to be able to do something with these guys?
No, actually, I think we're gonna be able to stuff the run a little bit. I mean, we've done it pretty well. Other than this last week. Look, I don't know. For me, that Chicago game has been an anomaly, right? Like, after we had such a high from the Baltimore game, even though it turned out to be a L, that Chicago game was just like a bounce back game. I almost throw that game out because I don't know. We played so good against Baltimore. We really bottled up their running. Of course, I mean, we handled Lamar just about as best as anybody else has. No, I don't see Dalvin Cook going freaking bananas on us. I mean, I know he's a little hurt right now. He's banged up. But for me, it's going to be about, and again, I know you hate the cliche, but it's about game management. It's about getting Jay Willie and T Swizzle the ball, managing the clock, getting guys open and hitting them in the flat when we need to. I mean, think back to what we did when we were down to Baltimore 14-0 going into the second half. What you turned to me in the seat and you said, Choppy, what do we do here? And what did I say?
Just nickel and dime them, move down the field, feature your guys, something like that. I mean, that's what we did.
Yeah, I mean, we dinked and dunked. We a 3-yard rush here, a little dump pass off to Hawk there. Nothing crazy. Get Raymond in space and let him make some moves. I mean, I want to get TJ Hawkinson out there and get him a little more involved, but I think we're going to find ways to move the ball in this Minnesota defense. I'm not concerned about that. And I think if our pass rush can step up, I think we can get to Kirk Cousins a little bit too. And we can force him to make some bad decisions. Obviously Jefferson's going to be a problem. Thielen across the middle. I'm hoping that Derek Barnes is able to kind of keep an eye on him. And, we may have to cover Jefferson by committee, but I really think this Minnesota team does not scare me at all. I mean, they're 1-3. I know they've had some close games. People are saying they could be 4-0. That's a bunch of bula. They're not good.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I think, I played the sound bit earlier, and I think it's appropriate here. I mean, without turnovers and without quarterback pressures, I mean, you can't win. You can't win without those things.
Cannot play with them. Cannot win with them. Cannot coach with them. Can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do it because every week I don't see quarterback sacks. I don't see strip fumbles. I don't see turnovers. I see an occasional ball that got tipped and fell into AO's arms. But it's like, you just got to be more dynamic. And a lot of times you're like, oh, is Dalvin Cook going to kill us? No. Yeah, I think so. Is Justin Jefferson going to be a nightmare to deal with when we have these corners out there? Yeah, I think so. Is Kirk Cousins not good, but he always seems to put up stats against the Lions and always seems to have a decent numbers at the end of the year? Yeah, so I get it. Their record's not good, but I think they're the superior team right now based on health, talent, ability. I'd love to serve up Kool-Aid, but to me, unless you do what you just said, which is protect Jared Goff, nickel and dime, hold the clock, run the football, smash them in the mouth, and then try to get some turnovers, I think you're gonna have to play almost perfect across the board, try to get a win in this game. So if I'm giving a prediction on a score, I mean, this one's gonna be like 28 for the Vikings and like 17 for the Lions.
Oh, Creed. You think they're going to put up 28, huh?
Yeah, because we have no one on defense. You did watch
the game where they put up 7 against Cleveland, right? You saw that?
Yeah, I heard about it, but I just think that we can't cover, we can't turn it over, and they're just going to run it and then throw it on us like they always do.
No, I have to strongly disagree, my friend. I think, look, I get it. Romeo, we got our edge guy. He's out, but we're gonna get We're getting Flowers back, hopefully. I think this Austin Bryant and the other Okora brother's gonna get some chance here to make some runs at that. At Kirk Cousins. I think AO is gonna have his hands full with Jefferson with a little bit of help from Walker across the middle. Hopefully those safeties can contain Thielen. I mean, look, we're not gonna shut anybody down, but we just got to contain them a little bit. So make them settle for field goals, which I think we can do. I mean, we did that well against Baltimore. We just got to not let them go crazy. I mean, and then on the offense, we just, like you said, we got to control the clock. We got to score touchdowns. We can't kick field goals. I mean, who's our kicker? Who is our Austin Seibert? Is he even back yet? Who is it?
He's coming back. Kickers are the least of our worries at this point. And the Lions have actually been good in the red zone for the most part before they went to Chicago. I mean, they had been scoring almost every time, and then Chicago, I'd say, scored none of the times, basically, when they were down inside the 10 or the 20. So, I mean, it's a little bit hit or miss there. So what's your score, Choppy? I mean, you're pumping up, giving the people the Kool-Aid.
Drink it in, man.
What score you got for this game?
I got a bounce back game here for the Lions, man. I got, and I know this is going against everything because it's a 9-point spread. But I got the Lions putting up 31, and I got the Vikings putting up 24.
Oh my goodness, that would be tremendous. That would be Kool-Aid worthy. Everybody, I know I've been frustrated. I know I've been a little anti-Kool-Aid. Choppy bringing a big tall glass of the Honolulu Blue for you.
Drink it in, man.
I mean, they do have the spread at like 50 total points. I mean, they've got the Lions, of course, like a 7-8 point differential. I mean, again, you think that's not doable or you think that's crazy, but they haven't held tight here recently. I really hope that they could flip the script, if not this week, as they get to playing the Phillies, the Bengals, the Bears again, different teams where we can really start stacking multiple good performances on, because I feel like they were, real good in the first half against Green Bay and then really horrible. And then they should have had the Baltimore game, didn't get it. Then they come out and lay that egg in Chicago. So it's like, I'm still unclear across the board of what we have in this football team, but going to have to overcome the injuries, going to have to really make some plays. That's what I'm looking for. Who are the playmakers? Who are guys that when all the chips are down, still go out and make that catch, still go out and make that tackle, still strip the ball out and create a turnover for our football team? Like, I'm still looking for those guys, Chops. But hey, man, we've talked about a ton on this show. It's always great having you on. We pumped your Twitter. I mean, they got to go check out the Hockey Insider and get that good info. I mean, hashtag Choppy Likey, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You'll see a lot of that here come Sunday when the Lions are lining up to beat down on the Minnesota Vikings, and then you're going to see a hell of a lot more of it next Wednesday when the Red Wings kick off the season. And be on Twitter and be looking for that. And if you want to hit me up with some questions, Choppy Likey, Choppy Don't Likey, let's get it going. Let's maybe get a Twitter poll here and Red Wings and Lions, maybe some sport that shall not speak of, and maybe even some Pistons if they loop you in it.
I got to give Chops mad credit because the dude's got like 80 million things going on in his life. He's got the family. He's got the crazy big job. He's got everything going, yet he's still been pretty active on the old Twitter machine. He comes on here once a month, talks football. I mean, he tries to compete with me in fantasy football. I mean, you're doing a lot of things. I mean, you're doing good, Choppy. I mean, hashtag Okrie Likey.
Aw, thanks, Oak. That means a lot to me, man. But hey, you know what? That's the spice of life. You gotta do things that you love, and you gotta love things you do. So, talking sports, being with my family. I'm a camping man. I'm a Twitter man. I'm a sports guy. Let's watch some Lions and let's get a big dub here in Minnesota.
Oh, love it, man. And it's always fun having you on the show. So thanks for making time for it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Let's go get a dub, as he said, in Minnesota with that stupid horn, that stupid Viking on the motorcycle, and everything else that goes with that team in purple. And let's get a W. So everybody, thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you next week right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Drink it in, everybody. Take care. We're out.
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions. Drink it in, man.